Canvas Day session. So I don't know if you saw, I was sharing my screen for a minute and I was actually sharing last week's, so the schedule was wrong. I apologize about that. But so we are going to have a presentation on G Suite first at 1 o'clock, and then at 1:30 we have one on gamification. So just as a quick reminder, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to submit any questions that you have, and we're going to save the questions for the end. So you can submit them throughout the presentation, but we're not going to answer them till the end. And then if you were here last week, just a quick update, there was a Zoom release and it doesn't let us select an option for you to be able to comment or view the questions in Q&A before they're answered. So last week you would have been able to comment on each other's questions, and this week that's not something we turned off, that's something that Zoom turned off. So that if you were here last week and you were confused about that, that's what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Leighton and Brian, and they're going to talk about G Suite.
Perfect, thank you. So let me open up my shared screen, and then I will actually share my presentation. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right, excellent. So yeah, so definitely excited to speak with the Penn State community today. Welcome and really, really excited to showcase how G Suite for Education and particularly Google Assignments and the Canvas integration are really just kind of forming one unified platform for you all as faculty to really utilize and kind of move forward with. Just some background on the team here. I'm Leighton Spencer. I am the G Suite East Region Manager for Higher Education. So I work with all, I guess, higher ed institutions from Maine down to Florida, and then I guess as far west as Ohio about. And then I'm also joined with a colleague of mine from our product team, who is Brian Hendricks, and he'll actually be going through a demo a little bit later today as well. So I think once we jump over, just a brief overview of what we'll be covering. So we're going to be touching on just an introduction, very high level viewpoint of what Google or G Suite for Education is, a very high level kind of overview of what assignments is within G Suite, and then diving into the demo that's really going to showcase Google Assignments and Canvas and how they're integrated together and how you all can actually start utilizing some of those features a little on later this year. So I think just from an overview perspective, you know, G Suite just really provides you all with the tools that can power higher education, and that's our main goal here. So as we jump in, I think just some of the details of Google for Education. So it's Google for Education is made up of a number of G Suite productivity tools designed for the classroom, from communication tools to collaboration. Google is really looking to have you guys covered to enable learning anywhere, anytime, on any device. So the ability to actually open this up, connect with your colleagues and students no matter where they are, the full free suite of communication and collaboration tools, including classrooms, docs, drives, and more, are designed to really help meet the needs of faculty and staff, and then also students in the classroom, but then also in distance learning situations as well. And then really creating everything that you need to bring coursework to life with the leading productivity tools for educators in North America. And then also having that peace of mind that you can collaborate and communicate without worrying about falling out of compliance with those education standards that are kind of across the board. And then it really, really gives you, and this is a bit of a deeper dive, gives you access to the best-in-class tools that are available for Penn State right now to use, and then how they can integrate with your learning management system as well, which is Canvas. Some of the hero features of our platform include live co-editing and documents, machine learning capabilities that learn as you interact with the different tools, and then presentations in real time. And with over 120 million students and educators utilizing G Suite for Education, it's a platform that students will have that familiarity with. So there's a real increase in student success across the board when it comes to utilizing some of these G Suite for Education tools. Now taking a look at Google Assignments, I think that this is one piece where it is kind of the latest piece in our overall puzzle to increase the effectiveness for both faculty and students. So this will allow you to create, analyze, and then grade courseworks within Canvas. So it's really just an additional feature that we're plugging into LMSs across the board. Some of the hero features within assignments that we're actually going to take a deeper dive into a little bit later as well are originality reports. And you can think of this as an application like Turnitin or a plagiarism detection tool. Template sharing capabilities across the class or student base that you're working with. And then a grading interface optimized for dry files. So anything that's coming from docs, sheets, slides, and et cetera. You can really have that inclusive grading kind of interface built right in. And then that direct kind of integration with Canvas into Canvas. So you guys can actually work with the tools you know and add on some of these excellent features that really take it to the next level. And yeah, and then I think today we're going to just take a deeper understanding into how Google for Education can support learning and look at the upcoming features that assignments will bring to Canvas for teachers and for learners through G Suite for Education. So I will pass it over now to my colleague Brian, who's going to showcase the demo and run through a lot of these features and functionalities with you all. But Brian, do you want to? Yep, go ahead.
I'm Brian Hendricks. I'm the product manager for Google Assignments, as well as our integration with Canvas. So excited to talk to you today about how to get started. Before diving in, just as a heads up, if you go, give a little echo. If the features I'm demoing to you today will not yet be available in Canvas for Penn State until this fall. So if you're excited with what you see and you go try to use it, just a heads up, you will not see that until later in the fall. Leighton, can you please stop sharing your screen so that I can go ahead and share mine? Great. Yes. Second. Okay. So the three use cases and demos I'm going to show you, first one is about Google Assignments and using that as a assignment submission type within Canvas, and that's a workflow for both instructors and students. Then I'll show you with our Google Drive integration for when students want to submit files just using a standard Canvas assignment as an option. And then lastly, I'll show you how you can embed Google Drive files in the rich text editor of Canvas so that you can easily share doc sheets, slides, PDFs, whatever you like within Canvas directly. So with that, let's dive in. So here I'm as an instructor in Canvas. I'm first just going to show how you would go and create a new assignment with Google Assignments in Canvas. Let's go here. Number 3. I change the submission type to external tool and go into our external tool selector. I have a lot of various versions of Google Assignments in here. You will see less tools, but it'll be Google Assignments. So I click that. Second, a little bit of a delay. It'll then pop up a window for me where I can set the files I like, as well as turn on originality reports. And so with originality reports, we've designed it so that it's both a tool to help students check for possible miscitations or possible plagiarism before they turn their work, as well as a tool for instructors to verify academic integrity as they're grading. So just as when you turn on, it will ask you to confirm for you that students will be able to run those reports before they submit. With our files feature, you can select any Google Drive file that you like to then make a personalized copy for each individual student, which is great for distributing work and also using it as prompts. And you can do this with any file that's stored in Google Drive. So it can be a Google Doc, sheet, slide, with sites for like templates if you want portfolios. There's a lot of different use cases for that. But here, just denoting that each student will get a copy. And you can also add multiple files if you'd like. you can set the points and the due date, and then also use a rubric. I'm just going to reuse one that I've already done in the past, just to speed things along. Go here. I'm just going to use this one that I did earlier in the day. And it has this rubric creator of criteria, ratings, descriptions, points. It's a full featured rubric creator. I'm going to go ahead and create that assignment. And then save and publish, and I'm ready to go. At this point, from the instructor's point of view, you are done, and it's just going to be waiting for students to submit. So I'm going to go over to my student screen, and open up that assignment. And as the student, you will see I got a personalized version of that template for me with my name on it, or Mark Twain's name on it. And that is something that the student can go in and edit, finish up, make their own version of it using Google Docs, whatever the file type it is. They also get their, you can see the rubric. To actually submit, they come over here. You can also create new files if you want to add something else. It'll again create a personalized file for you with the student's name on it. I'm just going to go ahead and so one thing I wanted to show. Gotta let go. Currently, as the student, I have the ability to edit this file, and it is available for me to edit. But when I go and submit it, sorry, 1 second.
Hey, Brian, could you maximize the window a little bit? We have a couple people asking for you to zoom in so they can see it better.
I don't know how to, I'm showing my full screen.
There you go. I think that probably did it.
Okay, the text, I see. So as a student, I'm able to edit that file, but then when I go and submit it, what we do behind the scenes is we actually remove the student's ability to edit that file after it's been turned in, and make it so that actually only the instructor has the ability to edit things and leave comments, so that, of course, students can't edit things after they submit. So as a student, I can't see anything, or I can't edit anything. So it's in a locked state. And I'm going to go back to the instructor. And it is submitted. So that's the student workflow. I'm going to go back to an assignment I created earlier in the day, just with a few more submissions in there so you can see how the grading workflow works. So here I have a few students have already submitted. I'm going to open up this file. So here we have a grading interface that we've created that's optimized for grading Google Docs and Google Drive files. So I'm going to call out a few things that can walk you through this. First, we have a student switcher where you can see everyone who's submitted and sort by first name, last name, and status. You can easily move between students using those arrows. And then on the right-hand side, when you have originality reports turned on, we will show you the score for that. I'm going to open that up. And what we do with the files, we actually break it into a whole bunch of chunks and run it through through Google Search and Google Books, and search hundreds of billions of possible places that the text of the file could show up, and we compile that for you in our originality reports. And so in this particular case, there was 5 flag passages. So this particular passage was a match with something on 123helpme.com. And so this is a great feature to help you evaluate whether or not there was potentially just a miscitation or possible plagiarism, or just where the sources of information in the document came from. You can also toggle between the count and the percentages as well. I'm going to go back out here. The nice thing about this interface and being able to grade in Google Docs, you can use the full power of Docs' collaboration features like comments, and students will not see these comments until you return the work back to them, so you can privately grade. We also default to suggestion mode, which is really a powerful feature, where if you're going through and editing it, if I delete, for example, it makes that as a suggestion, but then when the students see it back, they're able to see this as comments as opposed to you actually editing that file. So really powerful stuff. And then we have a comment bank feature which allows you to add your Google Docs comments to easily reuse. And just for example, back over here, if I type in MLA, and I've used this a couple times, but you can pull up that particular comment and quickly reuse that. So it's a time-saving feature for you. And then you can grade with the rubric really fast, and we auto scale the grade. I'm just going to go ahead and return this one back to the student. And then we kind of reverse the action that we did before with kind of returning the ownership back to the student, and that grade gets sent back to the LMS. I also want to show you just some examples of how it works with Google Sheets. And so, when you typically turn in a Google Sheet to your LMS, it's often just in kind of a static format, but with Google Assignments, you can actually view things interactively, see the formulas they're using, and really get richer information about the student work, as well as unique files like Google Sites, which are great for portfolios, as well as Google Slides, and being able to actually view them in their native format and not just as a static file. That's good stuff. So I'm going to go back here, and just to show you, refresh this. Oops, that failed. So this 65 out of 100, it gets sent through LTI back over to the Canvas gradebook, and the grade was returned. So that's how that feature works. And again, it's a really powerful way to distribute Drive files to students as kind of a worksheet or template, get originality reports for both a way to help students improve the quality of their work, as well as grade and get a grading interface that's really optimized for using Google Docs and Drive files. The next use I'm going to show you is around how students can upload Google Drive files to standard Google assignments, and then you can grade those in SpeedGrader. So I'm going to go back over to my student. And go to this. So this is a case where when you create an assignment, you keep the submission type as online and just select file uploads. You haven't chosen Google Assignments as an external tool, just a standard Canvas assignment. I go to submit an assignment, and there's a Google Drive tab here. I open it up, and I can use Google Drive to select the file I want to turn in. Just asks me to confirm that I want Canvas to be able to go grab that file. I submit it, and then it's going to submit that file over to Canvas, confirms it's submitted. Now I'm going to go back to the instructor. show you what that looks like. So in SpeedGrader, I have Mark's submission that is here. As I mentioned before, it captures a snapshot of that file at that time, so it's not editable. You can use Canvas's SpeedGrader functionality to annotate, but it does not have the interactivity or nativity of a Google Docs Sheets or Slides file. So there's the pros and cons with that. And we are working on a feature for Google assignments where you actually can have the choice between whether you want to grade in SpeedGrader or grade in Google assignments, so that you can make use of the file distribution and kind of make a copy feature as well as originality reports if you want that, but still want to grade in SpeedGrader. So we're going to give you that choice. It's not one or the other, but do want to call out the benefits of grading in Google assignments as well. So lastly, I want to go back and show you the last use case, which is embedding Google Drive files in the rich text editor for Canvas, and also works well with Canvas modules. And this is a case where if you've created PDFs or docs or sites or slides, whatever Google Drive file you want, but you want to make sure that students are able to see that and they can see that natively within Canvas, that feature will help you with that. So I'm going to go and create a announcement, for example, and anywhere that there's a rich text editor, so it could be in the announcement or assignments or discussion, there's the external tool, the apps icon. And again, I have a bunch of versions of the same thing, but you'll see Google Drive here. And as the instructor, I can pop up my Google Drive and let's go into my demo course materials here, add, say, these Google Slides, and then it's actually going to embed that Google Drive file into the rich text editor for me and for students or others to see, and it maintains the full interactivity of the file. So I'll also hop over to the student to show you how that works. Go to announcements. I'll use this one, which I have a few other files in there as well. So I can see Google Docs, interact with that. I can see slides from the instructor. It works great with like syllabuses or anything like that. So with that, that is how you would use Google Assignments as an external submission type, how students can use Google Drive files to turn in work with Canvas just as file uploads, and then how you can embed Google Drive files in the rich text editor to share materials with students. And with that, I will stop and we'll go to Q&A.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. So yeah, so we have a couple of questions that came through for the Q&A. I answered a couple, but I'll just read them out loud, and then Brian, yeah, feel free to answer and step in as you have the answer. So we have a question from, I think, Rungan Burks. I have some documents with built-in features by using VBA scripts. Does G Suite support VBA scripts?
That is actually one I'm not as familiar with. Leighton, do you know the answer?
Okay. I am not 100% positive, but we can definitely get back on that. But yeah, I will move to the next one. So there's some coming in. So how does G Education Originality Report compare to Turnitin's Originality Report? So I can actually take this from Brian, and then you can add on any additional. So I know some of the key differences between G Suite's Originality Report and Turnitin's Originality Report, and this is from Rob. The key differences are when it comes to ownership of those documents, Google isn't taking ownership of any of your documentation or any of, I guess, of that like IP or like information, but we're really just allowing you all to analyze data and search across across the web, utilizing our search algorithm, and then also across all Google Books. And I believe it's over, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's over 800 million different books that it's also searching across. So I know those are some of the key differences between G Suite's originality report and Turnitin's. But Brian, do you have anything additional?
Yeah, I mean, so one benefit of our originality reports tool is just how integrated it is with Google Docs and Drive. So if you're using those types of files, it just works really well in native. Our search index is many times the size of Turnitin, and we also have a lot of various Scholar Journal articles and things that appear throughout Google Books and Scholar. The school matches or the ability to actually see from past student submissions, that is a premium feature on top of G Suite for Education. And so at this time, for Penn State, you'll just have web matches, which are really powerful, but it will not check past student submissions. But if you were to get that upgrade, it would be very comparable to Turnitin.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Another one from Rungan, I believe, is I just lost it. Sorry, just got away from me. Can we use this with other browsers? I see you're using Google Chrome, but can we use like browsers like Firefox or Internet Explorer, etc.?
So it'll work with Safari and Firefox and Chrome. We don't officially support Internet Explorer 11, and that's across G Suite as well. So we do recommend Chrome, Firefox, or Safari.
Okay, thank you. And then from Rungan as well, can the submissions be downloaded for offline grading and then re-uploaded?
That is something that we don't support. But if you are able to actually download all of your files that the students turn in, but you can't upload the file on behalf of the student.
Okay. Let's see. I think there's a couple more that are coming in. Do we currently have a cheat sheet on getting started with Google Assignments?
There's some help center documentation, and we do some get starting guides. I think that might be more of a question for our over Penn State. That once it gets installed in the fall, they might have some getting started guides for you as well.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Sorry, let me try to find some towards the top. So how can I guess Google Assignments, and I'm assuming just in general, handle kind of number-based or equation-based assignments?
So and I'm not sure if that question particularly applies to originality reports or generally, but we actually have, we've had this feature out for a while. We actually get a lot of positive comments from math teachers who have been giving us feedback that we found we do really well finding if students have kind of copied and pasted equations or things from the web. But generally for math problems on with docs or sheets, both our template feature and originality reports can work well.
Excellent, thank you. And then I think we have a time for like two more or so. So this one's from Donna. Can you see versioning for documents for group work?
Yes, so on all of the editor's files, so doc, sheet, slides, sites, etc. There is in version history, you can go in there and see the revision history for that file. Yeah.
Okay. No, perfect.
And answering, I see a couple questions about faculty who might be using from Office 365 or just kind of explaining the benefits of using doc, sheet, slides, etc., as opposed to Office.
Yeah. So I think some of the benefits that come with the Google Suite platform, in I guess contrast to the Office 365 platform, are a number of things. So I guess the first is the K through 12 environment that students are actually coming up in. A majority of them are going to be well-versed in the Google platform because their K through 12 schools have already been utilizing that for some time. So they're a little more comfortable, and that can actually lead them to better successes without having to learn something new. I think some of the other things, you're going to see that there's a lot of comparable features between both doc sheets, slides, and so on, and the Office 365 productivity suite. But Google Drive actually has the functionality to also handle both. So you don't necessarily have to potentially like choose one track, but you can utilize, if there are users who want to utilize Office 365 tools, you're more than welcome to utilize those. But the Google Docs kind of environment has a number of add-on features that make it both easier to work in, easier to collaborate in, and then really pushes the student success kind of pieces forward as well, since they're a little more familiar with the platform.
All right, Brian and Leighton, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. We're a minute after, so we're gonna have to switch things over, but if I know that we didn't get to all the questions, so if you guys could put your maybe emails in the chat so that anybody who didn't get their question answered could reach out to you, or you're welcome to stick around and you can just type your answers into the Q&A. We're gonna leave that up, so thank you.